So good, that sun is shining. Ay, chillin' with my feet kicked up like I ain't trying. Yeah, this is what I want on summer, yeah. Gangs out here, let's run it, yeah. Vibes right here, 100, yeah. I've been on game like EA. Sippin' too soon, that pregame. Sign to find two, that three-way. I just went fast like we late. I just thank God like he said. How can I not, yeah, we straight. She just tapped in like relay. Yeah, it's on me like prepaid. If you ain't hip, you adios. I just feel lucky that particle. Getting that brain like on a roll. I have my goals and I double dose. I just went in, yeah, and I ain't look back. Now I got these wins, yeah, and the vibes on that. I've been vibing with the crew. Ain't no silence, that's the move. If you killing on the vibe, you gon' meet the front door.
Hello YouTube, you are tuned into the TrayTableSeatBack YouTube channel where I'll take you around the world with me, Raheem, and bring you travel videos and discussions from not only my eyes, but we'll also highlight other brown and black travelers who look like us with the intent to inspire. Ladies, gentlemen, non-binary and queer folks, as we start our descent, please make sure your tray tables and seat backs are in their full upright position. Here we are, another episode, and of course, another country. Actually, another two countries. Back in June of 2022, we visited France, we went to Paris, and we visited Spain. We went to Ibiza. And these are two countries that are probably at the top of so many people's travel wish lists, but unfortunately, I did not love it. As a traveler, sometimes you have good experiences, sometimes you have bad travel experiences, but for me, they leave you with a story. So either way, I have a story to tell, but unfortunately, those are two places I did not love. This is not my first time going to Paris. I never loved Paris. I think I've been about 3 or 4 times. Yeah, it's just not one of my favorite countries. If I never went back, it'll be fine. It's a beautiful place. I know a lot of people want to see the Eiffel Tower. That's great. But being fully transparent, because that's what the story is about, and making sure that we bring stories from black and brown people. They're not the friendliest to not only Americans, but they're also not that friendly to people who look like us. So yeah, where do I begin? I'll begin with Paris because we went to Paris first, and then I'll move over to Ibiza. Paris. Where do I begin? The traffic sucks. Just the energy. I just feel like when I land, I just already feel drained. This is a place that I did not want to go, but many guests have been asking, when are you going to do a trip to Paris? When are you going to do a trip to Paris? And I finally gave in, and this year we finally decided to host a TrayTableSeatBack trip to Paris. And just like I knew I would, I regretted it. As the host and as the founder of the company, I tried to make the best decisions for myself as well as the group. As an avid traveler and as the founder of TrayTableSeatBack, I choose destinations that I know and I feel are best for a group. And although guests have been asking me for years, when are we going to Paris? When are we going to Paris? I feel like I should have stuck to my gut and not gave in, because Paris for me is not a place you take 20 people. It's not a group trip place. One of the things that I would say was really bad was the traffic. We went a great time of year as far as weather, but because we went kind of the week before Fashion Week, traffic was horrible. One of the downfalls as a group is when you go visit important monuments in Paris, like the Palace of Versailles, or you go visit the Louvre, you have a time slot. So you buy a ticket based on a time slot. So what happened a lot during this trip is we would buy a ticket for a time slot, we would leave out in more than enough time, but we would be stuck in traffic for about 30 minutes to an hour to get everywhere. Even going from the Eiffel Tower to the Louvre, that's typically a 10 to 15 minute commute. that probably took us about 30 to 45 minutes. So everywhere we went, we had to kind of deal with the stresses of once we arrived, our ticket had expired, we were out of the time slot, and it caused a lot of like confusion and delays, which for a group trip, it kind of sucks. Some other things about Paris I just don't love. I don't love the food. I don't feel like the people are welcoming. I don't feel like they're friendly. And one of our experiences, which I feel like is really important to share, is we decided to go out at night for this nightlife, and we went to this speakeasy called 𝘬𝐿𝐵𝑰𝑧. So what happens is, it's a beautiful speakeasy. It's advertised a lot on social media. It kind of gives you the feel of a laundromat, and you have to kind of find the right washer, dryer. Is a door, and it leads to the speakeasy, which one of the guests seen on TikTok, so we decided to go. So we had a few guests arrive there early. They were upstairs. Then it was about 7 to 8 of us. We were in the front, we were in line. And then we had another 6 or 7 guests come later in the Uber, and they were in the back of the line. We waited in line just like everyone else. We get to the front of the line, and the doorman say, we can't go in. And we're like, why can't we go in? And his response literally is, there's too many of you inside already. So we're like, what do you mean too many of us? And he's like I said, there's too many of you inside, making reference to there were already too many black people upstairs. So when he looked at us in the front of the line and then the rest of our group in the back of the line, he decided that we could not go in because basically there were too many black people going in. I then proceeded to ask for the manager. The manager came. He was a complete, fix my words, watch my mouth, but he was an asshole. He was basically like he said, y'all can't come in. I proceeded to record him a little. I don't give a F if y'all record me. Y'all still not coming in. Even now, you're making a big scene. You're definitely not coming in. I would say as a black person, try not to support just that business. You know, I've been traveling for a minute and I've had really bad travel experiences, but I don't know if I've ever had one like that. Yeah, we were just turned down for just the color of our skin, which was really disheartening. But it's life, we move on. We don't want to support those people anyway. We decided to leave. Overall, like I said, my experience in Paris wasn't great. We also, every time TrayTableSeatBack does a dinner, we do either a welcome or a closing dinner. It's our signature dinner. We get all dressed up. We chose the restaurant. We talked to them about using their space. On a Tuesday, they had really no business, any customers there. They allowed us to use the space. We went and got florals and all this stuff to decorate the space. And then at the last minute, 15 minutes before the guests arrived for dinner, he then tried to charge me a fee to use the space. We had conversed hours earlier. There was no fee. He was excited for the guests to come. He was excited for me to bring business to his business and give him money, which was great. He waited 15 minutes before the guest was arriving to dinner to try to then charge me. So just those little small things really just put a bad taste in my mouth about Paris. Like I said, I already didn't love the place, but for me, that just made it even worse. Then we moved over to Ibiza, the party town, the life of the party, one of the top party islands in the world after Mykonos. I think I really had high hopes for for Ibiza. What I will say is my experience in Ibiza was better than my experience in Paris. I will say that it was more easy. It was more easygoing. The traffic wasn't as bad. Everything kind of was a flow. The hotel was better. I think after all the hustle and bustle in Paris, the guest was finally able to just relax and breathe, and it was just a breath of fresh air. So I do think that Ibiza, in that sense, I enjoyed that part. You know, being able to get away from the escape of all the craziness and all the traffic and all the hustle and bustle of Paris, and then move over to Ibiza. The downside of Ibiza, as we know, Ibiza is a party island. They have a lot of boat trips where you just partying on a boat. Sounds fun, sounds ideal, great. I decided to book with a company called Ibiza Boat Tours. Keep in mind the name, Ibiza Boat Tours. Do not use them. Do not use them, caution. So we used them to do one of their boat tours. We usually do private tours, but in Ibiza, we wanted to party. So this boat tour probably had about 250 to about 300 people on this boat. I thought it was gonna be a great experience. Boy, was I wrong. So one, We arrived there, great. We wait about 30 minutes. They give everybody their bands. You kind of wait until the boat arrives. The boat arrives. We get on the boat. From the moment we got on the boat to the moment we got off the boat, the experience was horrible. When I tell you the pressure, the tide was so heavy, the boat was moving at top speed. One of the things that I pride myself on in my business is customer service. So my thing is, the person who was driving the boat, the captain, when he drove over to get us, he had to know that the tide was very heavy. They still proceeded to allow us on the boat, all 300 of us on the boat. And when I tell you, maybe an hour into the ride, half of the people, if not more than half, was seasick and throwing up. I mean, throwing up everywhere. Over the boat, in the water, on the boat, in the bathroom. Some bathrooms were like out of service. It was not a pleasant experience. It was just not. It was one of those things that I feel like the company should have made a conscious decision to cancel the tour for the day, but instead they were money hungry and they just wanted the money. But all of my guests, my videographer, myself, there was like a bridal party there. It was just really a bad experience. They tried to, like, people who bought bottle services, keep the bottles going, keep the music pumping for people to kind of forget about the experience, but no one was enjoying themselves. Like, it was absolutely horrible. They were like riding at top speed, so it was even making it even worse. It was just really, really bad. And it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth and put a bad taste in all my guests' mouth. And I had to like really just keep apologizing. It's one of the things that was out of my control, but it really sucked. But what sucked even more is there's a morning tour and there's an evening tour. Now, mind you, I said half of the people on the boat was throwing up. The people that was working there just looked really like exhausted and confused and just really felt bad. There was one girl, she worked there, she apologized to us and she said that's her first day and this will be her last day. What made it even worse, we were part of the morning tour. When they got back to the dock where we was able to get off, they allowed the evening tour to get on. They did not clean the boat after everybody was throwing up. They just like rushed them on because as we were walking off, people were telling them like, hey, if I were you, I would not get on this boat. So because they were so money hungry, they allowed people to still board the boat for the evening tour without cleaning the boat, without canceling the evening, knowing how the morning went. For me, I was just really disgusted with the tour company. Like, it was just not cool. At that moment, all my guests kind of decided the next day we were doing another boat tour, but it was on a catamaran. My guests had kind of all made the decision like, I don't want to do any more boats. After this horrible experience on the boat, I don't want to do any more boats. I talked to them, I explained to them that this experience would be very different than this boat. And by the next day, they all agreed to go on the boat, on the catamaran. That experience was completely different. It was such a really great experience. The energy of the people, the food, the boat, it was just really, really a great experience. And I was glad that everyone pushed past whatever happened yesterday and was able to go this day and experience this. The beaches were beautiful, the energy, I feel like my group kind of changed the energy of the boat. We got up and started dancing. People started dancing with us. It just was a really, really great experience. Also, I mean, I think we already knew this, but when we went to Ibiza as a group of Black Americans, we don't expect people to cater to us. Well, I don't. I don't expect people to cater to me. I kind of just go with the flow. But I think for me in Ibiza, the house music, the it was just overkill for me. Like, I just wanted to hear some music with some words for once. And it was just a bunch of like dumping beats. And for me, 4 and 5 hours in a club of hearing that, it's just kind of like, okay, give us something different. Please give us something different. But I know that that's the vibe of Ibiza, fine. We even kind of felt like a hip hop club, which was okay. But their hip hop was like 2000 to 2010. There was nothing like modern day hip hop. It was everything that was like old. When we asked for a birthday song, it was go shorty, it's your birthday, like 50 Cent. That was probably like the year 2000. There have been many other birthday songs since then. So yeah, I just think it really didn't appeal to me and my group. I didn't love it. Would I go back? I probably would go back to Ibiza for myself as a solo traveler or with a group of friends. And I feel like it'll be a different experience. Do I ever have to go back to Paris? Absolutely not. But I also would say that I feel like Paris is more of a vacation. If you went with like your partner, your spouse, you probably will enjoy it. Yeah, so that's how I feel about Paris. Like I said, I don't love it. Ibiza, I would go back. I think it'll be a different experience if I went like with myself or with a group of friends. I do think it has potential to be very fun. So yeah, that's just my experience. I think this is the first time I'm bringing you like a bad experience, but like I said, my job here is to tell you my experience in different countries as a person of color, as a person who's running a travel group, as a person who's bringing a group. Like I said, my experience in Paris was not great. I never thought they were kind of accommodating or friendly to us as Americans or as Black people. And try to avoid 𝘬𝐵𝐺𝐻𝑝𝑒𝑎𝑘. It's a speakeasy. It may look beautiful on TikTok. They are not accommodating to us. So it's important for us to not support people who don't support us. And then also if you slide over to Ibiza boat tours. No, do not support them. So that is my wrap up of Paris and Ibiza. If you have a different experience, write it below. If you want to recommend some places that I probably should have seen or did not see or did not speak about. If you also had a bad experience in Paris, this is not the first time I've heard Black people talk about not having a good experience in Paris. But let's have a conversation below. Leave me your experience. Leave me your reviews of this video. Like this video, subscribe, press that subscribe button. We're going to bring you a lot of great videos. We're going to a lot of great countries. Share this video. Our job is to make sure that brown and Black people are being seen on YouTube and just other social media and just around the world. We need more representation, more diversity, and that's our job, to bring you stories from the lenses of people who look like us. So yeah, just share this video. We're coming with a lot more great content, interviews, different countries, different experiences. It's only going to get better. So like I said, press that subscribe button. But in the meantime, travel freely, travel fearlessly, but most importantly, travel safely. And until the next country and the next episode, we'll see you later.